Next up, we have Tyler.
Hello, my name is Tyler. I am a senior at animation. I was once a design student at junior, but I decided to try animation with the knowledge of color theory. So
Yes.
Even though that I wanted to incorporate animation into my project, I also want to put myself in an area where I'm not really familiar with. Like, I would say that I'm okay with sound edit, but I'm not particularly good at it. Communication has been like a really big challenge for me since like my entire life. Heck, I want to involve myself in directing. I really want to like push myself out of my comfort zone as much as possible. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to show you to my animation first, and then I'll explain my journey on how I made this animation, or like how it ended up. Okay, how do I play this? Do I play it?
Click next.
Click next. Oh. Okay, it's not full. It cannot be full screen. Well. So, let me give you a little more context on how much thought I put into this project. I can't click next.
Taya, you'll have to exit full screen.
Sorry how that works. Okay, wait. There we go. Okay, I'll also play that video. This is also originally my animatic that I did. Like I worked on over break. Can you play that, please? Originally, I wanted to create a story about this character, Zahina, who to show off my directing and storytelling skills. But so I decided to spend most of my winter breaks to create like multiple animatics. And the reason why I created multiple animatics is because usually in storytelling, your first animatic is going to be terrible, right? And that's okay. That's making bad stuff is crucial with learning, right? That's why critiquing exists. So you can take your terrible draft into something great. So a word of advice: whenever you're critiquing, you necessarily want to critique with people that you trust. And what I mean by that is people who are not like condescending or people who give out vague advice. Oh yeah, I like it. No, like people who necessarily like get you, and also yeah, you know what I mean. Before I even started on the animatic, I knew nothing about this character. I don't even know her wants, her needs, or her personality, nothing. So how did my first draft came out? As you would expect, pretty bad, terrible. So the next thing I did is I showed my first draft to my father, who is both a graphic designer, and we both have brotherly minds. So, and I remember his biggest take on my first draft is that he wasn't invested in the character. The character didn't have enough traits and blah blah blah. So I took that advice and I went back and I recreated the draft from start to finish, all the way through. I showed it to him again. It was, and he thought it was a lot more engaging. It was like magic. It was like magic. So after that revision, I revised it again. or no, I recreated, I revised the draft again. I asked my friends, hey, what's like one thing you would like to change about this draft? And I'm like, and they'll be like, oh, like maybe this or this, like maybe you should like they take this like camera shot and like zoom it out a little bit because it's a little bit too close. And I also myself would also like add a couple stuff to the animatics and then make my own changes. Like I was thinking it would be interesting, like since Hina's like a 17-year-old, what if she had like, what if she was like immature, like a child? How would I visually communicate that, right? I would first maybe like her sitting on a branch, kicking her legs, or balancing on a branch, or eating with her mouth open. Those little things is what makes like give a character a lot of depth into them. Wait, okay, can you get out? Yeah. Speaking of character designs, speaking of like character, here's like my process of character design. The first thing I think about whenever I do like character designs is even if you think that your designs are peak, you can always push it a little further. Like for example, I thought this character design was peak, but I kind of want to see myself. I kind of want to see her with like taller ears to make her more bat-like. So I went on with this design. Like it's good. I thought it was like it's good, but I wish her eyes had like a lot more composition, and her hair isn't as like messy, and the colors aren't as dull. So I ended up with this design where I made her eyes more circular, and interestingly, she has this weird, like cute, adorable, but creepy vibe. I don't know how I ended up, but I'm actually happy. Though one thing I would change about it is making the hands a little bit bigger. To make this like color like less dull, I also added an overlay mask, and I used like a clipping mask to make this more vibrant. And you know what they say, clipping mask can save your ass. I made that up actually. Anyways, my point of why I want to recreate this character design is that I wanted it to achieve one appeal, but I also want to achieve simplistic, right? What about the mute? Well, the complete opposite. The complete opposite. Necessarily, you don't want to like make, whenever you're doing like 2D animation, you necessarily want to like do like keep the character design simplistic, but I don't know. I just in the animation I just thought, you know, all these like little details was like cool and scary, so that's what I ended up with. As you can see, he originally has 4 arms, and whenever I was doing the animation, nah, 2 is enough. Nah, 2 is enough. Also, moving on to background creation. It's just like character design. You know, you need to figure out the theme, the personality, the tone. These are all unused backgrounds. I spend like a lot of time making these backgrounds. This one's probably my favorite one. Like, I'm so sad that I'm not using this at all. And also, I have like another slide of more unused backgrounds. And also, finally, more unused backgrounds. I like this one. This one's really cool. You know, like we got like a monster slashing your face. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Moving on to animation. Okay, where am I? Coming to this project, I knew that animation takes a while, right? You know, it takes dedication, it takes a lot of patience, a lot of love, just like raising a child. What I did not know is how long it takes. So, you see, my animatic that you just saw was like around like 4 to 5 minutes. And with like all of those things that you saw, even if I were to animate it in 6 frames per second, That felt like way too ambitious. That's way too ambitious. So instead, I thought I would just aim it to 45 seconds of the animatic that like my favorite part of the animatic, and then incorporated it into an animation. Then, before I do like the real animation, I did like an animation test. So first I did the extremes, I did the rough, I did the cleanup, and the coloring. The cleanup and the coloring is tedious. This is like, there's a reason why there are like separate jobs of why there's like a cleanup and animation. And this is a 6-second animation. You know, she just looks at the creature and kind of moves her head. With all of that knowledge, I did this all in grease pencil. With all of that knowledge, this 6-second animation took 2 weeks to complete. That's how I ended up with 2 scenes. Oops. Oh, yeah. Oops. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And also polishing After Effects, very satisfying. You know, you can see your character blend into the background. It's really cool stuff. I also use Clipping Mask for the grading as well. Monster sounds. Why is sound so like powerful, right? It makes your scenes feel alive. It gives your scenes depth. Sounds can trick your brain to thinking that you're seeing more things than what's displayed on screen. Sure. You know, Disney sometimes doesn't get that right. Making monster sounds. Making monster sounds is a lot like doing digital art and video editing because they have one thing in common. They have layers. I like to kind of like break it down into like 3 sections with when it comes to like sound or music. So first, like you got the melody, which is the body of the sound, the movement, the energy of the sound, and the background, the core personality of the sound. What I learned, so yeah, I like over the month I learned so much, including how long animation takes. I learned so much, and also like making like all of those backgrounds. If I were to redo this project again, I would make a comic out of it, just recreate it into a comic. Yeah. Any questions? Oh boy.
Okay. I wanted to say like your backgrounds, even though they were unused, they were like really good, and I feel like you did a really good job with like world building, like this overall world. So like, was that kind of like your focus in the project? Because I noticed
It was
you
kind
really
of,
added.
yeah, it was definitely like world building focus.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
So, first, it was really, really cool. Like, it looked amazing. Yeah, that was really cool. But my question was, for the sound parts, did you like add effects to the voices so you could sound like a monster?
So there's no wrong way to do sound effects. First of all, I actually use vocals. So, you know, Will Shear and Owen helped out with the monsters. Felicia did like the Zenith voice. Actually, what I did for the voice, I wanted to make it more powerful, so I took all of those like takes and then stacked them together. That's what makes it more powerful. And also, synth and white noise gives it a wind effect. Also, I use a lawnmower and a lion. I downloaded all of those from a website called Free Sounds. And yeah.
Do you think your previous experience in design, like with color theory, helped you kind of just create this whole entire idea from your?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely do not regret taking design.
We miss you.
Yeah, I miss all of you guys too.
Do you think you would want to direct again?
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly, despite me, like, I have a hard time, like, executing my ideas correctly, but, like, I have the skill, like, everybody has, like, I don't know how to explain it, well, struggles, you know, but I would love to do directing again, cheer.
I just want to say I really like how you like stuck with your character development and like you didn't really stop after the first or second try and you made sure you got to the point where you really liked it.
Oh, thank you. Ariel? No.
What inspired you?
What inspired me? Oh, it was the 2014 Godzilla.
Nice.
What Oh, so many hands.
I really enjoyed it. Like this was crazy. I love how you like really went into depth with like everything. It feels like you went all out for this Zenith, and like that's honestly super awesome.
Do you have questions or compliments? Like, okay, questions.
You said you made like a bunch of backgrounds. Like, what made you choose like the ones that you did?
It was because it had the monster sound. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
I just was curious, like, if you had more time, what would you have added with the animation?
It would be more like a trailer. It would be more like a trailer, like, it would still have like a cohesive story, but it would be like a trailer, right? Yeah.
Sorry, but this needs to be the last question.
Okay, sorry, last question.
So you said for it to make the actual monster sounds, you just like have them like screaming into the mic and then like you layered it?
It was more like an inhaler, like, in the mic, it's like that. It's pretty funny, but if you stack more sounds, yeah, it's gonna sound like a monster, and you add like paramedic equalizer, reverbs, and maybe some pitch noises, but yeah, and my take on sound design, it's fun and easy for me. Yeah.
Awesome stuff.